our topic is stability in unit number 5, the stability of linear feedback system. So, overview of today's lecture is, in this lecture you will learn about the Raoult-Hurwitz stability criteria. In Raoult-Hurwitz stability criteria, we can determine whether a system is stable or not. The next one is an easy way to make sure a feedback is not destabilizing, because we can generally use a closed loop control system, and a closed loop control system we have compulsory use of feedback element. And the third one is we can construct a Raoult table using Raoult-Hurwitz stability criteria and find out whether the system is stable, unstable and the critically stable. So first of all, in the last session we have studied about the stable system. What is the stable system? A linear time invariant system is stable if following conditions are satisfied. Which conditions are there? A bounded input is given to a system, the response of the system is bounded and the controllable. So whenever the system is stable, it is compulsory obey the law BIBO. For bounded input we can get the bounded output. And the next condition is, in the absence of the input, the output should tend to 0 as the time increase. So this type of system is known as the stable system. Okay, so in this graph you can see that in the left hand side diagram, bounded input given to the particular response. For that we can get a transient response. After some time the output will be steady. That means for the bounded input we can get the bounded output. So this type of response is for the stable system. Now whenever a system is stable, the location of the roots in left hand side of the S-plane. So whatever the system is given, the poles and zeros are always located in the left hand side. So this type of system is known as the stable system. Next is the unstable system. So in the unstable system, a linear time invariant system comes under the class of unstable system if the system is excited by the bounded input but response is unbounded. For the particular system, if we can given a bounded input but we can get the response is unbounded, so this type of system is known as the unstable system. This means once any input is given system, output goes increasing and designer or the operator cannot have any idea to control the output of the system. So in this figure you can clearly see that in the left hand side, whenever the bounded input is given, we can get the unbounded output. After the infinite time, we can get the oscillation of this system. So bounded input, unbounded output, that type of system response is for the unstable system. So in the unstable system, the location of the roots in always in the right hand side of the S-plane. Okay, so this type of system is known as the unstable system. If the pole location are in the left hand side as well as in the right hand side, if any pole are located in the right hand side, that means this type of system is known as the unstable system. So condition for the stable system is that the zero and pole are always located in the left hand side. If any pole or zero are located in the right hand side, that type of system response is unbounded output. Now the third condition is critically stable system. When the input is given to a linear time invariant system, for critically stable system, the output does not go in increasing infinite, nor does it go to 0 as the time increase. So the output is usually oscillate in a finite range or remain steady at the some value. So this type of system response is known as the critically stable system. So such systems are not stable as their response does not decay to zero, neither they are defined as the unstable because their output does not go to the increasing infinite. So in this figure you can clearly see that in the left hand side diagram we can given the bounded input, but in the output side we can get the oscillating response. So for the bounded input, output response for the critically stable system. Now in this system the root location are always in the imaginary axis. It means in the j omega axis. If the value of the poles are 0 in the terms of j omega, this type of system are known as the critically stable system. That means this is not a stable system and this type of system not a unstable system. Okay. So to find out the system is stable, unstable, critically stable system, we can always use a route stability criteria. Okay, so for the route stability criteria, we can consider a general transfer function where transfer function C of S upon R of S is equal to B0 x raised to m plus B1 x raised to m minus 1 plus up to dm divided by a0 x raised to n plus a1 x raised to n minus 1 plus up to an. In this criteria, the coefficient of denominator are arranged in array. So it is called a route array stability criteria. So we can consider only a denominator term like a0 x raised to n plus a1 x n minus 1 plus up to an is equal to 0. Now how we can find the stability of the system using route array? So the coefficient of s raised to n and s raised to n minus 1 row are directly written from the given equation. So here a equation is given a0 s raised to n plus a1 s raised to n minus 1 plus up to an is equal to 0. Now we have to draw a route array criteria. So first of all we have write the maximum power of s. Here the maximum power of s is n. So we can start the table with s raised to n. Now we can decrease the power of s. So s raised to n minus 1, s raised to n minus 2, s raised to n minus 3 up to s raised to 0. Okay, now in this table we have to write the coefficient of the system. So first of all we have to write the coefficient of maximum power of s. Here the maximum power of s is a0, so we can write a0. After that we can skip the second term. That means we can skip a1 s raised to n minus 1 term. After that we can write the coefficient of the next term. So the coefficient of the next term is a2. Okay, then next we can skip the next term. So we can skip the a3 s raised to n minus 3 term. So we can write the next term coefficient a4, a6, a8, a10 continue. Okay, in the next row we have to write the coefficient with power of s raised to n minus 1. So here the s raised to n minus 1 coefficient is a1. So in first column we can write the a1. After that we can skip the term and we can write the next term coefficient. That means it is a3, then a5, then a7, then a9 up to whenever the system equation is given. Okay, now the next question is that what is the in the next row value. Okay, so in this b1 we can write the coefficient of which term. So for that b1 we have the equation b1 is equal to cross multiplication of a1 into a2 minus the cross multiplication of A0 into A3 upon A1. So now next is we have to find the value of B2. Now for the B2, the equation is like that. We have always considered the first column. The second column is we can skip and we can consider the third column for the particular value of B2. So the equation of B2 is the cross multiplication of A1 into A4 minus A0 into A5 and divide by A1. Okay, now next we have to find the value of B3. Now for this B3, we have to consider the first column, we can skip the second and third column, and we have to consider the fourth column. So the equation will become the cross multiplication of A1 into A6 minus A0 into A7 upon A1. Okay, so this is the value of B3. Now next we have to find the value of C1. So for that we can always consider the last two rows. So we can skip the first row, and to find the C1 we can simply cross multiplication with B1 and A3 minus A1 into B2 and upon B1. So this is the value of C1 for the next row x raised to n minus 3. Now we have to find the value of C2. So for C2 we have skipped the second column and we can consider the first and third, and the equation will become like that. C2 is equal to B1 into A5 minus A1 into B3 upon B1. So this is the value of C2. Now up to s raised to 0 we have to find the value of D1, E1, F1, and we can get the Routh array table. Now each column will reduce by 1 as we move down the array. So for the last array we can get only one value. So this process is obtained till the last row is obtained. Okay, so this is the Routh array for the stability. Now how we can find the stability of the system? So the necessary and the sufficient condition for a system to be stable is all the terms in the first column at the Routh array should have the same sign. So there should not be any sign change in the first column. So we have now to check the sign of the first column. If the first column have the same sign, it means the system is stable. So here you can see that in the first column A0, A1, B1, C1 and up to A1, the sign of the all the term is positive. That means this type of system is known as the stable system. Now when there are sign change in the first column of the Routh array, then this type of system is called a unstable. Here you can see that A0 and A1 is the positive value, but B1 we can get the minus, again C1 we can get plus. So there is a sign change in the first column. That means there are roots in the right hand side, and whenever any one of the roots are located in the right side, this type of system is become unstable system, so that the number of sign changes equal the number of roots in right hand side. Here two sign changes, plus A1 to minus B1 and minus B1 to plus C1. That means two roots are located in the right hand side. So this type of system equation are known as the unstable system. Thank you everyone. If anyone have doubt, then contact me.